Glad to have you join with me for the devotion for Thursday, March the 10th. And we will be looking at Proverbs chapter 10. Before we look there, I want to ask you today to be praying for WG and Maxine Anderson. Proverbs chapter 10 is kind of a little bit of change of course. I guess as I think about Proverbs, it's like maybe the first 9 chapters have almost been this the tree growing up, the trunk or whatnot, and there has been this theme of wisdom, just pursuing wisdom, how wisdom matters, knowledge, and all this. It has been a consistent theme throughout, and all of a sudden, as you reach chapter 10, it's sort of we begin to have branches go off the tree. So we're to pursue wisdom. And now it begins to tell us what wisdom looks like in everyday areas of our life, such as today's passage mentions speech or the mouth in 11 ways, even though some of them are indirect. You recognize that it is talking of speech. It talks about work. It talks about finances. It talks about things like integrity. It talks about being diligent for watching out for things, relationships. So again, we've got the tree trunk growing up, wisdom and knowledge, and now the branches are beginning to come off. What does wisdom look like in these areas of life? So again, in chapter 10, there's a lot of things. As we get here, we can't pick out everything. We sort of have to maybe, even sometimes we may pick out a verse or two. But again, so I went through and counted. I saw where speech or the mouth or the lips is referred to some 11 times. And God gives wisdom to his people, and he wants our mouths to be to speak wisdom. In Colossians, it talks about how our grace, our mouth, our speech should be seasoned with salt. Verse 11, he says, "The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked." Here in America, we turn on a faucet and we get water out of it. Many countries in the world, people go great distances to carry water, and it is not always clean water. But the Spirit of God says the mouth of the righteous person, this is the person who seeks wisdom, walks in wisdom, is a well of life. Our mouths feed other people. As it's going to say in another proverb, death and life is in the power of the tongue. But then it says violence will cover the mouth of the wicked. Verse 12 does not mention the word speech, but it certainly talks about it. Hatred stirs up strife. And then, but love covers all sins. So how is it that hatred stirs up strife? Isn't it usually through speech, by spreading rumors about somebody, gossip about somebody? And I wished I could say this weren't the case, but I've seen this in churches. I've watched this where somebody would get upset with somebody else. And it tells us in Matthew 18, if we have something against a brother or sister, go to them. Do everything you can to work it out. But it seems like way too often that people will get upset with somebody else. Instead of going to them as Christ says, they will get upset and they will begin to spread stuff with their mouth, and it stirs up strife. It is hatred through our mouths. But the other side of that is keeping our mouths closed. Love covers all sins. We might know about it, but we don't want to call up somebody and say, "Did you hear such and such about so and so?" Because love covers sins. Verse 19, "In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise." Sometimes, and now for some people this wouldn't be an issue. For some of us, though, to go into a crowd, a group of people, and determine we're just going to keep our mouths shut and listen could be a challenging thing. We're used to giving our input, but Perhaps this should even be a spiritual discipline at times, that we're determined people don't have to hear what I say, and I should restrain my lips and listen. So I think I will just stop there, but you're going to see this whole theme throughout Proverbs about the lips and what our speech can do, the good it can do, the damage it can do. And God does impart righteousness to those who will seek after it. Ask the Lord to impart wisdom to you. I think I just said righteousness. He does impart righteousness through Christ. He also imparts wisdom. And that ask the Lord to impart wisdom to you, that your mouth may be a well of life unto other people.